Hollywood, all you have to do is look at him the right way, a smile and a wink later, he is all yours. And sometimes not. Lisa de Lusignan and Laura Bradley are single specialists who have watched many Sex and the City episodes and taught workshops on how to have a fab single experience in and out of the city. About once a month or so, they drop into Studio 4 to dish. It is my pleasure to welcome Lisa de Lusignan and Laura Bradley back to Studio 4 to tell us more. And they are coach counselors, I forgot to add.
Yes, we are.
And aren't we having fun being deeply shallow today?
Yes. That was excellent. That was a lot of gossip in 20 minutes.
It was. I love
excellent.
Lainey. She knows everything.
Yeah.
I always try and squeeze something out of her off air, but she's pretty good about not releasing until it's time to release. So that the vain, gossipy, wonderful foursome, shoe-loving foursome on Sex and the City. What do you think about that?
What do we think? I think
event, the whole series, the pop culture
series?
phenomena.
I mean, I loved the series. I love it. And just like Lainey said, I love the writing too. It's hysterical. Some of the capers and the situations they got into are real. I mean, they actually happened. Those things, they always take them to the extreme. But the dynamics between the women is very much what really happens in singlehood.
And that internal dialogue, we all have those thoughts and those feelings, right? So they do such a great job of that.
Exactly. Yeah. And they are connected to each other as girlfriends. To me, there's a feeling in that show that no matter what, I'm here for you. Yeah. We may have our disagreements, but no matter what, because we're bonded girls, we'll be in the trench when anything goes wrong for each other. I never know who looks that good all the time, or if there's that many fab men in the world. Not in real life.
Well, did they have many fab men though? I don't
there's
think they have very many fab men on that show.
But lots available. You know what I mean?
They're
always
available.
Not that they land them.
No,
they have to go to your
never
workshop.
Never seems to work out.
No, and there's a few of them that aren't very fabulous. They seem fabulous from the outside, but not so fabulous on the inside.
So when you teach your Fab Love workshops and you do the litmus test for how to pick a fab man or not, or fab female, how to pick a fabulous partner, what questions should we ask about a partner?
I think
not a date.
A partner. Well, I think you have to know what you want. I think that's a big important thing that often those girls didn't know what they wanted. I mean, it's a TV show. So often they didn't know what they wanted and they floated around and picked something that looked good on the outside, but didn't really match what they wanted on the inside.
So do you suggest single women in the city or single men in the city make a list?
We do that, but it's
a want list, a wish list?
It's a broader list. It's more about the values, and it is more about, we find often what happens is the opposite, is that single men and single women, especially more seasoned, do have a list, but it's so narrow that there's actually no room to be in a relationship with another human being. That person would have to be perfect in order to pass all their tests. So usually we actually work in the opposite direction, about becoming more flexible and knowing that you're going to be involved with a human being who will make mistakes, and which ones can you live with and which ones can you not live with.
And it's about, too, who you're about, what you want. Don't you think? In your life, and how you want your life to be. And whether or not you have a man in your life, or if you're a male, you have a female in your life, perhaps that's not the issue. Do you see what I mean?
Well, it's about what you want. It's about what you value in your life and what you want to bring more of into your life.
Sure. We've all had girlfriends, I think, who the minute a man lands anywhere near them, they forget all of their girlfriends.
Right.
They're gone.
Yeah.
It's like they left the country.
Right, and I think that's one of the things that shows Sex and the City does so wonderfully. It shows how that girlfriend actually becomes your family, especially as we get older. Those are relationships we've had for 10 or 15 years. So there's kind of two things that happen. You have to remember that when you meet somebody, there's this natural process where you fall madly in love, and that's the only person you want to be with. And everybody does it. So, usually girlfriends have some room for that to happen, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that you have to also be an individual. Right? You have to also nurture the parts of you that you were nurturing before as a single, because that's also the person that the person was attracted to in the first place, this outgoing, involved in their life kind of person. So you can't forget to be a person outside of a relationship.
It's being single in the relationship, really.
Yeah, being autonomous and together at the same time.
Who you really are in the relationship.
Yeah, and those girlfriends or guy friends, depending on who you are, they have a significant role in your life. And this partner is not going to fill every one of those roles.
Nor want to.
No, they don't want to, and they absolutely can't. Your girlfriends are very special people, and for guys, their guy friends are very special people, and you need those things. So if you abandon them the minute you get into a relationship, then you become imbalanced.
Yes, and you know many young women who wait for him to call. The girls say, why don't we go out, have a few drinks, have a Cosmopolitan, it's Friday night. And she doesn't really say it out loud, but she is waiting in the apartment for him to call because maybe he will, and puts her girlfriends yet again aside. Not all women do this, but some.
Or checking their phone every 5 minutes instead of actually being with their girlfriends and having a good time.
Well, how about the girlfriend who dumps you because they get a better offer from the boyfriend?
That's not so fun.
No, it's really
We've
not.
all been there.
And that doesn't happen on Sex and the City very often. They are very committed to each other.
Exactly.
thing
And
that's-
I mean, I understand if you have been scouting and dreaming and wanting and suddenly it happens that a good girlfriend may say back to you, you know what, you're off the hook.
Right.
You go with him.
Right. In a month, you know? Because eventually that honeymoon phase changes in a relationship into something different. And you do have to go out and nurture the other parts of you. And therefore you need your
Sure.
friends. Whether you're a guy and you need to go play poker with the guys or do whatever you do with the guys or play on a sports team, or you're a woman and you want to go biking with the girls for the weekend, whatever you do to fill that part of you. But that part eventually is going to be calling to you to fill. And if you put all that pressure on the person you're in a relationship with, it's too much.
How do you think men feel about if you date me, you date my girlfriends? Do you see what I mean? If you're going to date me, yes, I'll be with you, but often I'll bring my girlfriends along, especially the single ones.
Well, I think some men, and in my relationship, that is the thing. And I also come from a family of mostly women. So in my relationship, often it is me and my partner and a lot of my girlfriends. And I think that it ends up being, some fun with that. And then he has to keep balance. But I think you have to communicate about that. You have to communicate about, is this working? And the person has to be able to stand up and say, no, I'd rather be by myself with you, or I'd rather do something else. We invite some more people. I think that's part of communication.
Right.
And if you are talking about not dating, but actually entering into a partnership, you are entering into each other's lives. So you have to have some acceptance for, okay, this person comes with a full, especially somebody over 40, they come with a full life, a family, friends, a social network. So you do have to enter that in some way and be flexible.
Of course, but what do you do if he doesn't like your girlfriends? And that can happen, as you know. You may love your girlfriends, he may not like some of them. And it's very hard to walk on those eggshells. What do you say to the girlfriend?
Well, I wouldn't be telling the girlfriend, for one.
So I'm too yappy, am I?
I would
you
be
like
having a dialogue with my partner about it. I mean,
Right.
the dialogue has to be, because there's probably more going on than him not liking your girlfriends. You know, that is between the relationship. That's a relationship issue, not a girlfriend issue. So that would be something that they
It's true.
need to dialogue
And
about.
again, you have to maintain your own, I'm me, I like this person a lot, I don't care what you think about this person. But then your girlfriends on the other side may say, they don't like your boyfriend, what do you do?
I think part of that is that you do the same thing Lisa was saying, but you also let them sort it out. I think often, especially as women, we try and fix it all and make sure everybody's happy, and but that you actually go, okay, well, this person's in my life, and this is what I value and love about them. You are in my life, so you guys have to figure out, leave the living room when they're together and let them figure out how to be in relationship together. You don't have to figure it all out for them.
Well, you have to have a great self-esteem and high self-image to be able to say to anyone, I love this man. He's my guy.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you think. I don't care what my mother thinks. I don't care what my father thinks. Don't care what anyone thinks. For me, he works. And there's a little niggling thought in the back of my mind suggesting that maybe they're right.
Yeah.
It
You
usually
hope
is.
not, but you say,
Yeah.
you're not dating him.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, you're going to have to live with the consequences of that relationship. So it doesn't, like, if you're saying that everybody has this niggling feeling and you have it, then you might want to check it out. You might want to figure out, okay, where do I sit with this? And that's right, you have to have a good self-esteem. And that's why we work with singles in the beginning about starting from that place. So you're actually going back to you to actually make the final call. Because at the end of the day, you're living with that person. You got to decide, can I live with this or not?
I always think they know something you don't know. When the girlfriend says to you, I really like him, but I don't like him with you.
Well, and sometimes there is information that you can take from your girlfriends. I think that if you're not reactive and you can actually have an honest conversation about it, then there might be something valuable in there. There also can be other things going on, but if you're non-reactive and you can actually have a true conversation about what's really at the bottom of her dislike or discomfort with how he is with her,
Right.
with you, then it might be really valuable. And it could also be open up communication between the two women.
Because sometimes she's just missing you. That's it, right? So she's trying to put something in between you and your partner because she's actually just missing the relationship you had.
So it might have nothing to do with
Exactly.
the partner.
Yeah.
True,
So you
but
gotta-
that's not a Sex and the City girl, because a Sex and the City girlfriend would be honest, I think. I don't know for sure, but I think honest enough to say, you better get some vodka because I have to tell you what I saw last night.
Right.
Your boyfriend, the guy you think's your boyfriend, was with another, and it was not platonic,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yes, that-
How do you do that? Or should you do that?
Well,
or
you
is
know,
it your business?
Here's my rule of thumb with that. I have a kind of a rule about that. Is that you always give the other person the first chance. So you would, if I was a girlfriend, I would say to the guy that I said, I saw what you did last night at the bar. You have 24 hours to tell Sally Sue, or else I'm telling. So I always would give that person the first shot at it. And then I'd still follow up with a conversation with my girlfriend to say, so you talked to and then say what I saw.
Good advice. It's a bit of a threat.
It is.
It's scary.
But
it's scary to do.
It is scary to do, but well, my girlfriends and I, we have the pact. No matter what, we have two promises. I will never blame you. If you think my boyfriend is with another or cheating on me or doing something that I don't know about or lying to me, your obligation as my friend is to tell me. And I promise I will, because as you know, sometimes women reverse it and they're mad at you for telling. You think,
Right.
no. Let's have this discussion
Right.
before it happens.
Yeah. Well, that's why you give the guy the first shot, or the girl, who's ever doing the cheating. You give them the first shot at that. Because if you go tell first, and then that couple still ends up together, you're on as you betrayed the relationship. So it's much better if you actually give it back to the betrayer and say, okay, it's your deal. You go tell, or I'm
Sure.
telling.
Because again, then it keeps it between the couple, because you're not the one involved in it. If you go directly to the person that's cheating, then you give it where it belongs. It's about the relationship between the couple, not the relationship between you and the girlfriend.
It's so true. And it's very difficult to do. And then you get into the gray waters of how important was that. So he was at the bar last night and he kissed a girl on the dance floor. So is that any big deal? Now, if you know more,
Right.
that it didn't stop at the dance floor,
Right.
that's a bigger deal.
Right.
But you just don't want to stir the pot for somebody has a little too much to drink, gets a little crazy.
Well, that's why you let them sort it out, right? So for, I guess, some people, that's not a big deal. For me, it would be a big deal. If my husband was at the bar and kissed another girl, that would be a big deal.
Big deal to me.
Yes.
But for somebody
I
else,
would
it
wanna
might
talk
not.
about
Most women.
And I would want to talk about it. I'd want to talk about it with him. I wouldn't want to talk about with my girlfriend that saw him. I would want to talk about it with him.
And you should forgive a man who says, I had too much to drink, I got a little crazy. Picked up one of your girlfriends. Whoops. Well, that was kind of dumb.
That could be a 3-hour show.
Yes, that could be. But I love you madly. You must know that. Well, but it's about honesty, is it not? And
Yeah.
not
And
interfering and
Yeah, and
girlfriend pacts.
absolutely. And you know, I think we just forget that, you know, we do come with a whole society with us when we're in a long-term relationship, and we have to learn as a person entering into that how to navigate through those.
Sure. And we have to understand that there is a male code that doesn't always apply, but often applies. The do not tell, no matter what. This is, no matter where the boys are, nobody goes home and blurps to the wife or,
Well,
a few do, but not many.
Well, nobody wants to be responsible for the demise of a relationship.
Exactly.
And so that's why we always recommend that you just go and tell the person that actually was the betrayer and let them do the actual accountable piece that they need to do in that relationship, as opposed to being the one that blows the whistle.
Do you talk about this in the Fab Love Life workshops? This type of thing?
Well, we talk a lot about communication, open communication, and how to open up communication so that you can actually keep your relationship alive and authentic, because that's what keeps it interesting and that's what keeps it passionate. So when you're not communicating and you're skirting around and you're talking to your girlfriend about your problems instead of directly to the source, the boyfriend or the
Exactly.
spouse, then that's when things start to get boring and you lose your passion and you lose your intimacy, and that's when people can roam and start cheating.
Sure. Always say what you're afraid to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you think, I don't know how I'm going to bring this up.
Yes.
But I'll get the courage. I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
One fine day.
We like the line, "What I don't want you to know is."
But I don't want you to know
And that's a good
this.
intro. Like, I don't want you to know this, but I need to say it.
I need to get it out.
Yeah.
To get it out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Off the
Because then you keep
Yeah.
the relationship
shoulders.
real and current, as opposed to this protected kind of fantasy of
Right.
what you want it to be, and then it becomes so dead and flat.
Exactly. So, if people want to have Fab Love Lives, they can go to fablovelife.com and find out when your next workshop is.
Great.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Penny.
you. Nice to see you. Lisa DeLusignan and Laura Bradley, they are coach counselors. And coming up, it's Spiff Up the Deck time with today's contemporary design that will be collectible tomorrow. A preview of some outside modernism is next.